There's nothing like seeing captive turtles in really thoughtful, well-created habitats that were made with them specifically in mind. These are not turtle habitats where they're just thrown in with a bunch of other species, right? We're here at Riverside Reptiles Education Center in Enfield, Connecticut, one of our favorite places that we've highlighted before on the channel. But today we have a very, very special video for you. We're going to actually get into the habitats of 2 different snapping turtle species. And I'm going to show you the proper way to handle each of those species. If you ever saw one crossing the road or wondered how professionals do it, I'm going to do it today. So I'm really excited about that. I can't thank our friends at Riverside enough for all the amazing work they do, but also the opportunity to be here today. Super excited to have you with us. Let us know what you think of the video in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. We're really doing it. So the first turtle that we're going to visit with today is Ben. And Ben is like a mythical creature. He's a large alligator snapping turtle, Macrochelys temnici. And he is really known for being just a really sweet, docile animal. And in my experience, you know, even when the large alligator snapping turtles are kind of ornery and not the happiest turtle in terms of wanting to be held and handled, they're slower. They're kind of, you know, they're like me. So I really relate to them a lot. But anyway, we're going in to see Ben. That's why I've got these beautiful blue trunks on. These are my swim trunks because I'm going in and I'm going to show you the proper way to handle an alligator snapping turtle. Just understand when you're talking about snapping turtles in general, whether it's alligator snapping turtles or common snappers, that sometimes the mid-range are the ones that could be the most dangerous just because they're faster, they're more difficult to handle. These big ones do tend to be a little bit slower, but we'll show you how to handle them. And I'm really excited. I feel like I've known this turtle for a real long time, but I've never touched him before and I've never really been up close to him. And I've certainly never been in his habitat. So here we go. How do I look? Oh, there he is. He's swimming all hard. Oh, I love you, dude. I have a heat lamp right in my head. All right. Ben, you're not working with me, you're working against me. Whew. All right. Hi. So this is Ben. Ben is just an absolutely glorious animal. Now, you can see this is a natural defense for an alligator snapping turtle. They'll open their mouth up like this as a threat, but it also gives us a great view of one of the things that they're really best known for, which is that lure appendage inside their mouth. So you notice the inside of their mouth is colored much like the outside of their mouth. So underwater, when they're kind of sitting there in a riverbed, it looks like maybe a rock, you know, blend right in with the rocks, that sort of thing. But there's a worm appendage, and the alligator snapper will actually wiggle that lure to attract potential prey. Now, when they're small, they do that a lot. But when they get larger, they do less of that, and they forage a little bit more. That's when they start, you see them eating things like acorns more and that sort of thing. This is just an absolutely magnificent animal. You see, I'm not really in any danger handling him at all. When you have them here like this, it's actually quite easy to handle them. The issue with a large male alligator snapping turtle is how heavy they are. And that's what I'm dealing with right now with Ben. So I'm pulling him out of the water here so you can see him. An awesome animal who I feel like I've known for a really long time and I've never actually been able to get up close with before. So amazing. I know you hate me, but I love you. Wow. So there was a paper in 2014 that described 2 new species of alligator snapping turtle. The nominate, well, I guess the species, it's not nominate because it's not subspecies, but it's the species that had always existed with a much larger range. And then 2 that came from different areas in Florida. One Suwanneensis, Suwannee River, and then also the Apalachicola alligator snapping turtle. And that's what, if I'm not mistaken, now I'm not an alligator snapper expert, I certainly love them, but if I'm not mistaken, that's what Ben is supposed to be. And I know that Brian Kleinman, the owner and proprietor of Riverside Reptiles here, wonderful guy, reached out to Greg Brashear. Now, if you don't know Greg, check out Greg's Turtle Haven. Greg is an alligator snapping turtle expert. People like him and Dr. Jerry Johnson and others are definitely the experts. I'm not. The Apalachicola species, which was described in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, is now not recognized. So there are two species, the Suwanneensis and then the traditional alligator snapping turtle. Those are the two. So technically what I'm saying this one would be, the area that this one's from, is actually not valid now. So just important to make that distinction. But anyway, this is just a beautiful animal, and you can see that it's definitely a unique one as well. So I'm going to let him go now and leave him alone for the day. I love you, Ben. I know you don't love me, but thank you for sharing your space with me for a moment and helping to educate people about your amazing species. When I was a kid, I could remember visiting the Bronx Zoo and seeing the large alligator snapper. There was about 207 pounds, according to the keepers who used to take care of it, who are now friends of mine. And it changed my life. It opened my eyes to turtles outside of what would just be in my backyard here in the Northeast. So to be in Ben, this amazing mythological creature's habitat, is so amazing. And they're actually putting me to work. So I'm ready right now to scrape the acrylic and make it look nice and pretty. And now I've been bothering Ben, as sweet as he is. So now I have to keep an eye on him while I'm doing this. I don't know if that was the best, if that was very thoughtful, but anyway, now I'm going to scrape the glass, the acrylic, while trying not to get killed by Ben, who feels a certain way about my presence here, I'm sure. So anywho, luckily his head is kind of yellow, so I could just make out where he is in the water. So, whew, my life can't be real. It's really happening. I'm looking for Ben here while I'm doing this. Don't kill me, Ben. It's time for me to get out, and Ben is trying to kill me right now. He just turned around, oh, and he bit the brush. I put the brush down at the last second to try to keep him from killing me. Go on that side. I'll leave you alone. You do your side, I'll do mine, because now it's going to take me 20 minutes to get my fat butt out of here. Woo! Woo! That was fun. He was really coming up. Maybe he didn't know where I was. He wasn't like trying to come and get me, but like he was coming towards me, and he's obviously very agitated. So last minute, I had the little scraper brush and I put it down in front of him, and he bit the heck out of the scraper brush. And like, I was legitimately trying to wrestle at him while he was trying to come at me. Like, that's an experience I've never had. So as sweet as he is, how big and slow I am does not make this easy. They treat us so good here. I've got my volunteer intern walkie-talkie and keys to Ben's habitat. So I'm gonna lock that up right now, say goodbye to him now that he almost killed me, but didn't actually. And I don't know, maybe I'll let Emily know that we're done. Woodchuck the blue squirrel, woodchuck the blue squirrel.
There's a squirrel, go ahead, woodchuck.
Just wanna let you know that we're all done in Ben's habitat, and he almost killed me, but not all the way. So awesome.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. Do you mind locking up?
Doing that now. Over.
Thank you.
Okay, love you, bye. Oh, I got my foot. Thank God I got my shoes on. He came right back. You're going to love me because I'm going to grab you right there. Hi, buddy. Oh, he's a beast. He acts just like a snapping turtle should. So it's crazy because he's captive and he's used to people. He's coming at us aggressively. So he knows we mean food, and he's coming right up to us. So it was tough for us to even come and put our feet in here. The second we hit the water, the second Kevin hit the water on that side, he started going for Kevin. And the second I came in behind him, he turned right around and started swimming right at me. I go to grab him, and he bit my foot. Now, luckily, I have some Crocs on, and he got all shoe. But, I mean, he bit the crap out of my foot just now. Hi. He's pretty. What a pretty guy. All right, I'm going to sit down here and get a little more comfortable, and then I'm going to tell you about my friend Atlas here. This is Atlas. Atlas is a common snapping turtle, Chelydra serpentina, and this is one of my first loves. It's a species that has a huge range across the U.S., and I have personally caught these turtles in countless states across the U.S., including California, where they're not native. Caught a big fat one out there, which is important to note, right? Because this is a species that, especially up here, spends majority of the year, well, a huge portion of the year. I don't know if it's the majority, but about half the year, cold, hibernating, not eating. I have a common snapping turtle at home that I'm going to introduce you to at the end of this video. And that turtle sleeps even in our greenhouse for 6 months, and they're not eating. So what does that mean? That means that these turtles have to get all their action in a short window. So they're eating and growing and laying eggs and incubating and hatching all within that short window. And there is a rule called Bergman's rule, and it's more of a guideline than a rule because there are exceptions to every rule, right? That says that species will have larger individuals at the more colder part of the range. And that is true with common snapping turtles. So they do get larger up here than they do, say, down towards Florida. So the reason for that is because they can lay less clutches of eggs in a cooler climate with a shorter season, a shorter window to do so. And therefore, the larger animals can lay more eggs. But snapping turtles are one of the few turtles where males, and there are some tortoises as well, and you've heard us talk about this on the channel, but males do get larger than females generally. Although the largest, heaviest common snapping turtle I've heard of was actually a female, 84 pounds, captive female. But when they're in captivity, when they're raised totally in captivity, all bets are off. So anyway, this is Atlas. If you thought that our friend Ben hated me, then welcome to Atlas's world, because I don't even know how I'm going to put him down and get out of here without him biting me right on the butt cheek on my way out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A lot of people think the snapping turtles are killers, and they are vicious. They're known for how vicious they can be. Now, if I let him down, he's going to try to swim away from me. Okay? Now, if I take him out of the water, now it's fighting time again. And they're known for the way that they act outside of water, because that's how humans interact with them most. They're out to lay their eggs. They're out going from one wetland to another. And we see them and they kind of walk tall to show how big and tough they are, because at that point they want to fight. And it's that awkwardness on land that gives them their reputation. They're thought to be killers, that they will just eat anything they can get their hands on. And that is true. They are opportunistic scavengers. But keep in mind, with the common snapping turtle, 70% of their diet in the wild is aquatic plants. So they'll be eating things like this water hyacinth here, aquatic floating plants and other plants that live in the water. I know. I'm so sorry. You're so pretty, though. You're so pretty. You want to kill me. Okay. Let us know about your snapping turtle stories in the comments. What an awesome animal to be here in its habitat. And what a great job they do here at Riverside, right? Look at this incredible habitat that is dedicated to just one snapping turtle. And while I'm in here, I'm seeing all sorts of fish and a little frog hop by me while I'm sitting here. Like, it ends up creating an entire ecosystem here that wouldn't exist otherwise. So cool. Hi, Atlas. Hi. You could almost reach me right now, and you know it, and I know it. Please don't bite me. I have a family. It's my birthday tomorrow. You can't bite me. It's my birthday tomorrow. You know that? Is today your birthday? This is around the time the snapping turtles hatch here. I was just thinking, you know, you're not going to bite me. Oh my gosh, you are going to bite me. You want to bite me. You scared me. I was talking. I was in the middle of a sentence. I love you, buddy. So I showed you how to hold an alligator snapping turtle, and you'll grab behind the nuchal area, the cervical area, the front of the shell, the anterior middle of the shell. You can't do that with a common snapping turtle, so don't try, because their head can reach back very quickly and grab you right there if you're behind their head. So really, if you're handling a common snapping turtle, it's really difficult to do so without getting scratched. So just know your knuckles are going to bleed, your wrists are going to be scratched up if you're doing it right. So, ooh, I got kind of close there. Woo! So You can grab them if they're down on the ground. You can grab them by the sides of the shell, kind of the rear wheel wells here, right here, in front of the back legs. And you can also get a hand under their plastron. One of the reasons why they're so ornery when they're on land is because they have a reduced shell. They don't need as much protection as other turtles. So this little bikini plastron here is a good place to grab them and handle them. If you do see them, it is a great thing if you can, and if you're willing to get your knuckles scratched up a little bit, to take them off the road in the direction they were headed. Some people, a great recommendation, since I know a lot of people don't have, turtle rescue kits in their car like some of us nerds do, you can take one of the floor mats from your car, put that on the ground, get the turtle to walk onto that or scooch it onto that, and then drag the floor mat. But I recommend grabbing the floor mat, as you can imagine, from the back side of the turtle, not in front of the turtle, because these turtles, they're built to defend themselves, and that's what they're going to do, as you can see. Thank you, Atlas. I'm going to leave you alone, okay? But I'm going to wait and get my butt out of the water before I put you down, because I know those lips were made for my butt cheeks, and I don't want that. You already bit my shoe. I love you, though. As we're saying goodbye to Atlas and moving on, we noticed this sign here that says, "Please do not touch the turtle for your safety and the animal's safety." Yeah, I'll say, I've dealt with so many common snapping turtles, and when Emily was telling me and Brian, they were letting me know, like, Atlas is pretty crazy. I'm like, yeah, okay, I've dealt with countless over the years, large, crazy common snapping turtles in the wild, and they are so much more aggressive than their alligator snapper counterparts. They are something to behold, really. Atlas was something else, and I joked to Kevin, he's like the worst of both worlds. He's as angry and aggressive and fast and strong as a wild snapping turtle, but he comes after you because he knows humans are food, and he's kind of swimming at you a little bit in the water, which I've never seen a common snapping turtle do. So it's really interesting to see an animal that is so unique in its behavior like that. That was cool. We're here in another one of the pond enclosures at Riverside, and this is the one that houses a bunch of different turtle species. It's kind of the communal area, and most of the species here are native to the Northeast. This is a species that is not native to the Northeast. It's invasive and does live and breed here in the Northeast, including Connecticut, the state that we're in right now. This is the red-eared slider, and it may look a little bit different, although these have become extremely common now in the pet trade as well. Not obviously as much as the normal counterparts, but this is an albino red-eared slider, and her name is Ghost, and I just love this turtle. She is a turtle that we've showed you in a video before because she actually had an eye enucleation, which is a procedure from a veterinarian where her eye was removed because she had an issue with her eye. This is a turtle I always enjoy seeing, and it really is a guilty pleasure of mine, albino turtles, and specifically albino red-eared sliders. They just get kind of large. They're very yellow when they're small, and then when they get larger, they kind of turn to a creamier version of that yellow color, and I just think they're absolutely amazing, captivating, and seeing them out basking next to, regularly marked turtles is really something to behold. There's actually a red-eared slider right here. While I'm talking to you about red-eared sliders, there's a male down here. There he is. And males for this species will become what we call melanistic. They'll have increased amount of dark pigmentation. That doesn't happen with albinos, even the males. But you'll see the coloration in this turtle is starting to break down a little bit. So you see his red ears are still there, but they're starting to disappear with age. And that happens. So this is one of the most commonly misidentified turtles in the world, probably the most, because people will find males, older males, whether they're wild or not, and completely misidentify what they are, particularly when we find them on the West Coast. Like if someone finds one of these in California, they say, oh, wow, I found a Pacific pond turtle, Western pond turtle. They do look similarly, I suppose, but they are nonetheless red ear sliders. And you see how those beautiful colorations that sliders are known for, it's not present here in this male. This is Glyptemes is the genus here, and it actually shares the genus. There are two species in that genus. The other is the bog turtle, which is a true rock star in the turtle species world, and not one, much like wood turtles, that you should go out and try to find in the wild if you're not supposed to be there, because they are protected throughout their range. Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. Love you. We just had an incredible time spending time with the turtles here at Riverside. Now, there's one other thing and one main focus for this video that I can't wait to show you. This is one of the most amazing stories that I've seen here in Connecticut. Connecticut is not a hotbed for turtle happenings, right? And that's was a rough thing for me growing up. Something that I've always kind of fantasized about seeing in the wild, like thought about, wouldn't it be amazing if this happened? I can't imagine what it'd be like if that happened, and could it ever happen? Actually did happen, and now I'm going to share that with you right now. Emily's got the story. We're going to go in and talk to her, and I'm going to introduce you to an incredible animal that should not be here.
Here, do you want me? I'll take this one and put it in there.
Yeah.
That's a big female.
I know.
I know. Hi, honey.
Of course, yeah.
What a cool turtle.
This I don't know if
So nice to meet you, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's pretty.
I know, you're a killer.
She's a jumper, so you know.
She is a jumper.
Yeah.
She really does jump up. I got her, so it's good. I was at the symposium for the biology and conservation of freshwater turtles and tortoises. AKA TSA symposium. And that's what we call it for short. And I was contacted by several people. One was Ange, we had on the podcast in the past, a fellow member of the Connecticut Turtle Society, and also Emily. But Ange was first, and the first picture was an alligator snapping turtle in some clear water in some undisclosed location. I don't know where. But Ange is a rehabber here in Connecticut. So I'm like, wait a second, is that in Connecticut? So come to find out, it was in Connecticut. The next person I heard from was Emily, who had heard about this turtle, right? And it was all hands on deck. Who the heck's going to go and get this turtle? And you don't understand. I live for this opportunity to go and get this turtle. Like an alligator snapping turtle, which should not be in Connecticut, out in the wild, is a really, really big deal. So a hero needed to step up, and I was in Tennessee and not able to have my hero moment. So a real hero was able to actually step up and do it. And that was, who was that?
I don't know. There's no heroes here.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. It was you. Tell me about it. What was that like? Like, were you busy? Were you feeling it as much as I would have been? Like, what was that like?
I just wanted to help the turtles, so I just felt the urgency that there's this animal that does not belong here and definitely needs some help. We were just busy at the center doing normal animal care stuff, and I got a call on the radio that there was someone on the phone who found an alligator snapping turtle. And usually we don't take in surrendered pets, so if someone says they found something, it typically means it was their pet and they just don't want it anymore. And I was like, okay, I have to confirm the species and just send me a picture. And he was like, it's definitely an alligator snapping turtle. And I was like, I'm sure it is.
Okay.
Just send me, yeah, right? A little bit of an eye roll. I was like, okay, send me a picture. And he was like, no, people confirmed it. So he sent me the picture, and I saw he's standing there and he's giving a thumbs up, and there's this giant turtle in the water, and it was definitely this alligator snapping turtle here. So I was like, okay, yeah, we can take her. Can you bring her here? And this is the moment that I realized it was definitely not his pet, because at that point he was very fearful. He was like, I could probably grab it. Yeah, I don't know if I have a bin big enough. Maybe I'll just corral it into something. And I was just like, okay, it can't be that big, right? So I brought a bin, and I brought a second bin just in case. And it, lo and behold, there she was, just in his brook. And he thought it was a common snapping turtle, so he was taking pictures with it. And then I guess he posted it on social media or something, and someone was just like, "That's not native. That's definitely."
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's so wild when it's something that is out of place like that, and it truly is. I can remember catching common snappers as a kid that looked different. They were like a different phenotype. Some common snappers are just kind of brownish, yellowish, and then there were these ones that were darker with like white dots. And I thought, oh, this is an alligator snapping turtle. It's
really
a different
pale
snapping
ones
turtle.
too.
Yeah. You get these different looks to them. And I always like fantasized about finding an alligator snapping turtle, even though obviously they don't live anywhere near here. So that's the crazy part. And this turtle looks wild. That's like, it doesn't look like a captive animal. It looks like it's been living in the wild for a long time. It's got the right body condition, the shell shape, and how the way it's worn and all that sort of thing. This doesn't look like an animal that's just been in captivity. It looks like one that's lived out in the wild, and it's behaved like one since you've had it.
Yes, yeah, she's very
Right?
wild.
Yeah, and the diet as well. So you guys have been seeing, she's, turtles, they eat, and then it comes out the other end. And sometimes you can get a lot of information from what's coming out the other end, and what has been coming out of the other end for her.
Acorns, a lot of acorns, all just northern red oak acorns, a ton of them.
Isn't that amazing? So alligator snapping turtles are known to eat acorns, but captive ones don't take acorns as often.
Or as readily. Yeah.
Or as readily. And she is passing a ton of acorns, which is so interesting. But we were talking earlier about your theories about why that might be here, because the acorns haven't dropped off the tree yet, but here she is passing acorns. So we thought that she would be released and has been surviving in Connecticut for a long time, which I do think is possible. Mm-hmm. However, if she has acorns she's passing, she either ate them a long time ago and is passing them now, which seems unlikely, who knows, or she was down south where the acorns drop earlier and was eating those at a different time. So this is the benefit of having, people who are experts on all things plants and trees in your life, as Emily does. So thank you for that. I mean, not only is she a hero, but she knows other heroes that can help and have a different skill set and knowledge. It's just crazy. So this turtle is going to come with me now and be used for educational purposes. Every turtle that lives on our property, that lives and is part of our programs, has a job. And that, for almost all of them, is to create baby turtles. But we have an albino common snapping turtle that I'm going to introduce you to in a moment. And also this now alligator snapping turtle, whose job, those two are the only two outliers. Their job is not to make baby turtles, but to come and educate the next generation of turtle appreciating people out there who are going to care about turtles and want to protect and conserve and preserve them in any way that we can. So that's what she's going to do now, because she certainly should not be out in the wild in Connecticut, of all places.
My hope is that the person who took this from the wild actually got bit by this animal, and that's why they released it in Connecticut, because they decided they couldn't deal with it for the long term.
Time for us to take this girl home. We're leaving Riverside right now. I would like you to help me come up with a name for this turtle. Thanks for getting the door for me, Kev. I would like you to help me come up with a name for this turtle. She'll be used for education, so it has to be epic. I want you to let me know in the comments what you think we should call this big girl, who is so angry right now that I'm carrying her. I'm so sorry, sweetie. Oh, I'm so sorry. She hates me, man. Yep. All right, sweetheart, here we go. First of many car rides together. Now, because she's going to be an educational animal, this is part of her future. She's going to be in the car in the future in a bin because we're going to take her to meet children and adults alike all around the Northeast when we use her for educational programming. This is Crud. Crud is an albino common snapping turtle. Now, you saw us with Atlas earlier today, the very ornery, angry common snapping turtle at Riverside Reptiles. But this is a cool variation on an American classic. So kids will see two snapping turtles, the native version in albino, and then also the alligator snapper to show them the difference between the two. So that'll be a lot of fun. And this turtle, again, every turtle here has a job. For every single turtle except these two snappers, that job is to make baby turtles. But this turtle and that other one now will educate countless kids and adults for years to come. That's what it's all about. So here's this big girl who we just took on today, and you see she's not the biggest, heaviest, fattest captive alligator snapping turtle. This is a wild turtle, which is gonna pose a challenge for us. She's definitely feisty. She's not used to being handled. She was just taken out of the wild, which is just so sad. You don't want to see this ever. But we're gonna try to give her a good life. And just a reminder, we're trying to come up with a name for her. So please let us know in the comments what you think. But we're gonna try to give her a good life. And so far, since Riverside had her after Emily went and rescued her that day, she hasn't been eating because she's a wild turtle. And she certainly doesn't want any pellets or anything like that. So we'll see how it goes. But now we've got her back here. We're gonna set her up to the best of our ability and just take good care of her, and hopefully things will be smooth sailing for her going forward. But I anticipate some bumps in the road, and we're just going to do the best that we can, including veterinary care.
Hit subscribe, join the crew. Just turtles. There's always something new.